Good evening and welcome to the Wednesday night gathering, Going Within, Practicing the Presence. My name is Bob Clow, and I'm here to read the announcements of all the wonderful things going on at Seaside. Starting yesterday, there was a 5-week session. We missed yesterday's, but on Tuesday nights, Reverend Christian is having a class, The Untethered Soul, The Journey Beyond Yourself. So there are 4 more weeks. That's at 6:30 here on Tuesdays. On Friday the 10th, from 7 to 8:30 here, there's a gathering with Reverend Laurie Mack and the Dances of Universal Peace, Christine Stevens and the Sophilius Band. And they have simple songs and dances, celebrating all paths to God. And the following Friday, the 17th, James Von Prague will be here at Seaside. You can get tickets for that online or in the bookstore. And a reminder, Lori is gathering inspirational stories for sharing here on Wednesday nights, on the 2nd and 4th Wednesday of each month. So if you have a realization or demonstration or a heart opening or a healing or intuitive hit or some experience of forgiveness that you want to share, you can email it to Lori, and you can do it anonymously if you choose to, and you send it to Share My Story with Rev Laurie Mack. Share My Story with Rev Laurie Mack at gmail.com. And remember, having rests on giving and not on getting. And now, our guest artists, Dave Avani and Myron Stan.
I know you're listening and you hear me. I know you understand and you hear my small voice. There is no way I could separate myself from the body of your love. I've been searching and researching my soul for the answer to this. You're the only sense that I get when my senses are all spent. I want to talk with you alone. You will be here when all else is gone. Your love's the only thing I own. You are the giver of the gifts. You are the giver of the gifts. I remember a time of no time, no boundaries of my mind. There was no me and no I. There was only one. For now I live among your gifts, drifting back and forth in awareness, knowing this, feeling homesick. I want to talk with you alone. You will be here when all else is gone. Your love's the only thing I own. You are the giver of the gifts. You are the giver of the gifts. Talk with you alone. You will be here when all else is gone. Your love's the only thing I own. You are the giver of the gifts. You are the giver of
Thank you, Dave Avani and Myron Stan. That was gorgeous. Welcome to Practicing the Presence. My name is Reverend Lori McMacken. So we come together here on a Wednesday night to lift you up and allow you to grow in your spiritual awareness of the divine in your life and to tap into those fields of infinite possibilities, the fields of infinite potentiality. And this evening I will be talking about the path to compassion. And as you light your candle, I'll invite you to come forward. And why don't you dedicate this evening to somebody who needs love and compassion in their life? It could be yourself or someone you know. So please come forward now and light your candle as Dave Avani and Myron lead us in song as we practice the presence together.
I am alive. world. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. We are a light. Last time. We are a light. We are a light. We are a light in this world. We are a light. We are a light. We are a light in this world. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine, shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright.
So this is the time of our service where we practice meditation. I invite you to close your eyes and go within. For this evening, Kay Samuelson, practitioner, is going to lead us in a gong meditation. And just breathe into your heart space. And think of someone or something that you have unconditional love for. And then just allow that feeling of unconditional love to permeate throughout your heart. And as you're sitting here in the silence, just allow this unconditional love to flow into the sanctuary as we practice the presence together.
I open to the blessings of this moment, knowing our hearts share the sacred language of love. I recognize one spirit, one holy presence, for it is the very rhythm of my heartbeat. The seed of the beloved has been planted within each one of us. And compassion is the very intrinsic nature of our being. The best gift that we could give anyone who is suffering is our wholeness and our loving compassion. For love is an energy. It is deep within the heart and can be expressed through just kind words, acts of acceptance, understanding. And I know the gift of grace is flowing through Reverend Lori McMacken this evening. For her words are an extension of her consciousness. And so it is. It is the heart's journey. As we awaken, become aware and mindful of our very own humanity. So may you be free of suffering. May you live in joy and with ease. And so it is. Good evening. My name is Kay Samuelson. I'm a master practitioner here at Seaside. And my reading for this evening is from a couple different people, and it's on compassion. The lotus is the most beautiful flower, whose petals open one by one. But it will only grow in mud. In order to grow and gain wisdom, first you must have the mud, the obstacles of life and its suffering. The mud speaks of the common ground that humans share. No matter what your stations in life, whether you have it all or you have nothing, we are all faced with the same obstacles: sadness, loss, illness, dying, and death. If we are to strive as human beings to gain more wisdom, more kindness, and more compassion, we must have intention to grow as the lotus and open each petal one by one. Goldie Hawn. In cultivating compassion, we draw from the wholeness of our experience, our suffering, our empathy, as well as our cruelty and terror. Compassion is not a relationship between the healer and the wounded. It's a relationship between equals. Only when we know our own darkness can we be present with the darkness of others. Compassion becomes real when we recognize our shared humanity. When we practice the vulnerability of compassion, we can expect to experience the fear of our own pain. Jack Kornfield calls compassion the quivering of the pure heart, when we have allowed ourselves to be touched by the pain of life. Under this rubric, even the idea of enemy vanishes and is replaced by the notion of someone who needs our understanding and love. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. And so it is. And so let us welcome Reverend Lori McMacken.
Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you for sharing your meditation and the beautiful prayer and the reading. It was a great setup. And thank you, Myron and Devavani. Wow, beautiful. So this evening is on the path of compassion, and Kay Samuelson set us up so beautifully. The mystic spiritual teacher Osho, he quotes that compassion is the ultimate flowering of love. You see, compassion is when you open up your heart to recognize that you are one with all humanity, that you are connected to all of life. Compassion is when you recognize that your emotions and your feelings are the same as everyone else's emotions and feelings. And there is no difference, no matter what race or what color or what religion or what gender, we are all human beings. And just being compassionate that I'm a human being and you are a human being and we are the same is the path of the flowering and cultivating compassion. Compassion is when you want all sentient beings to be free of suffering, to be free of strife, to be free of misery and of bondage. Compassion, high compassion, is when you see people where they want to be seen. That is the ultimate compassion. You see, there's only one mind in the universe, and that is the universal mind. So your mind and my mind and our mind is all one. And we are swimming in the universal sea of the divine spirit. But within your mind is the individual mind. And within my mind is the individual mind. And each individual mind has a universal mind and an individual mind. And so when I see you where you want to be seen and you are suffering, because there is only one mind in the mind of God, there is a demonstration, there is a manifestation of that. But within your mind there is a principle. Okay? And in this principle, you have a choice whether you would want to have love in your life or you want to have hate, whether you want to have joy or you want to have misery. For this is the law of the universe. And no, you are a religious scientist and you understand the universal laws. You understand that your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions are responded by the universe. So when you are in misery or you are in bondage, you recognize that you may have been unaware of what you were thinking, because we are always at the effect of the cause. But we are cultivating compassion in our life. We can look at our fellow human beings and we can realize that they are the effect of their cause. They might not understand the universal laws. They are ignorant of the universal laws. And that's where we come into play, because we recognize there is one life and one mind and one spirit. And we can always see them beyond their present paradigm. I think compassion is something that we cultivate as we grow as human beings. When someone is suffering, you can either react to them by just being ignorant because you don't know better. You can react to them by having sympathy for them. You can react to them by having empathy for them. Or you can react to them by having a high, unconditional, loving compassion. And the reason why I say that is because I have walked this path, and as you hear my path, you may be able to hear your own path. For when I was 18 years old, I left the suburbs of Michigan, and I moved to the city in Pittsburgh, where I went to college, and I was on my own, so I was supporting myself and paying for my own college, and I was also working till 5 o'clock in the morning. And I didn't realize that homeless people are usually homeless because they're mentally ill or they could have an addiction. There are other reasons, but those are the main two reasons why people could stay homeless. Because I wasn't, I've never seen it, and I just wasn't subjected to that. So there was homeless people in the street of Pittsburgh, and when I would look at them, I would be, well, why don't you just go get a job? Just go apply for a job. I didn't understand. I'm working to 5 o'clock in the morning. Just go work if you want to eat. And so I was ignorant. And today, could I have compassion for my ignorance? Yes, I do have compassion for my ignorance. I'm kind of glad I was ignorant for a while. But then when I moved to New York City, I lived on 29 West 65th Street between Central Park West and Columbus Circle. And right outside of my apartment, I had a homeless man that lived there. And he became my friend. And so every day I worried about him, and I recognized then that homeless people may be mentally ill or they may have an addiction. So every day I wanted to go get him a coffee or a bagel or a meal or dinner every single day. And if he wasn't there, I worried about him. Where did he go? You see, I had him chained to that place, that sidewalk, and I was sympathetic. I got into the ditch with him. Can I have compassion for myself for being sympathetic? Yes, I can, because that was my consciousness in the moment. And then New York City became very, very cold, and there was lots of homeless people in New York City. And I couldn't bring them all in, and I couldn't buy everyone dinner. So what I could do is have empathy. And when you have empathy for someone, you feel for them. So I'm thinking, wow, this is a very cold night. I couldn't imagine spending the night outside, but I have empathy for them. I am feeling for them. Did I have compassion for myself? Yes, I was growing and I was expanding. My heart was kind and it was opened. But it wasn't until I took this path that I recognized what was the path of compassion. Compassion is when I see a homeless person and I can buy them a meal, I can give them $1, I can feel for them, but I see them beyond their present paradigm. I see them now, when I see a homeless person, I see them with all their needs met. I see them having a safe place. I see them having warm food and a warm home and loving people all around them. And my man in New York, that's where I see for him today, because I have no idea where he is, but I see him in the light. I see him in the light how he wants to be seen. For that is the path of compassion. I had a real heart-opening experience in my life. For 16 years, I was with a beautiful man that I loved so much. I would do anything for him. And he went out on me. No, it wasn't the younger woman, it was the older woman. Aren't you surprised? I was. But my heart was broken and it was smashed into a million pieces. And my heart opened also at that time. And so I called up my girlfriends that had the same thing that happened to them, right? And they never got over it. And we got together and we had the greatest pity party. A good victim story, a bottle of $2 Chuck, and we were crying together. And we talked about how good we were and how bad they are, and we were the victims. And that was sympathy. But I wanted something more. I didn't want to be a victim all my life. So then I called up my friend who had the same thing happen to her. However, she remarried. And I called her. And she said, well, I feel for you. I know exactly what you're going through. So she validated my feelings, and she had empathy for me. But she wasn't going to get in the ditch. And it wasn't until that I saw a practitioner, matter of fact, one at Seaside that went through the same thing. And she saw me where I wanted to be. She saw me taking responsibility for my life. She saw me having the consciousness to have a man that is loving and honest and having a beautiful relationship. That's exactly what happened. Because there is only one mind in the mind of God. So, if you have a family member and your family member is sick or ill, the greatest gift that you can give to your family member is to get all your other family members together and tell them that we are not going to chain this person to their bed. We are going to see them how they want to be seen. We are going to see them in the light of health, in the light of healing. We're going to see them driving and walking and talking and partying and being with their family and being with their friends and their children and their grandchildren. That's how we want to see our people. For this is the path of compassion. When I was in Practitioner 1 training, there was a girl who was in my business circle, and she was dying of cancer. And we weren't friends, and I also knew her sister, but we were associates. And she didn't know that I was on a spiritual path, and I decided that I wanted to go see her in the hospital, and I wanted to pray for her. And thank God that one of the practitioners that I was training under was a hospital chaplain. And I went up to him and I said, I want to go visit this woman that's dying right now. She's a young woman, and what do I do? And how do I act? And, I was nervous about this. I wanted to go in there and pray with them. And he told me, he said, when you look at her, you don't see a dying woman. When you look at her, you see the light of God in her eyes. You see her how she wants to be seen. Because life is eternal and life is immortal, and even though we drop our body, we continue to create. We continue to create our life, and we continue on. So if someone's there on their deathbed and we're looking at them with sympathy in our eyes because we're grieving our own life, which is okay if we do that, for them, what they want you to do is they want you to see them how they want to be seen. Young and vivacious, a 20-year-old. So I was nervous, and I drove over there, and I said a prayer before I walked in. And I walked into the hospital room, and there was a lot of people in the room. And I just stayed up, and I stayed happy, and I came bearing gifts, and I had a prayer circle, and I saw her. I saw the light in her eyes. I saw that divine spirit that was within her, and we had a beautiful prayer session, and I left. And then a week later, she had passed away, and her sister had called me up, and she said, Lori, I just want to let you know that my sister told me that day that you came to visit her, all of a sudden light came into the room and you walked right into it. And she said you were the only person that looked at her how she wanted to be seen. For she was the light of the divine and she was eternal. I didn't look at her with sympathy or empathy. Of course, I wasn't family, so it's a lot easier. But everyone wants to be seen as they are a light. They are that divine spirit that is eternal. And I think that we all see ourselves as young. And I can say this to you because we're all, in our middle ages, except Nicolette. And I know for myself, even though I'm in my mid-ages, I still feel like I'm 20 years old. And I'm sure if I ask you, you'd probably say, yeah, I'm 50, but I feel like I'm 20, or I'm 60, but I still feel like I'm 20. Wow, I'm 80 years old, but I still feel like I'm 20. Is when I realized is that we still have the eye of a 20-year-old no matter how old we are. And I kind of learned this in a weird way. When I was younger, older men would look at me and I would think, oh, my God, he's looking at me. That's gross, Grandpa, right? And so when I became an older woman and I looked at a younger man, I thought, oh, all right. I get it. I get the dirty old man thing. Your eyes never change. No matter how old you are, your eyes are always that of a 20-year-old. It's true. I don't know what my arms are, but my eyes are. Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, there's a book about Ernest that Fenwick, his brother, wrote. And in there, he was discovering life and the nature and how it worked and the law. And he was discovering self-compassion. And there was a woman in his neighborhood. She was an older woman, and she was dying. And the doctor came to the house, and he overheard the conversation. And the woman said, does everyone in the town think that I'm dying? And the doctor said, yes. Well, doctor, do you think I'm dying? And the doctor said, yes. And she says, well, you go tell everyone that I'm not dying. And she lived for 5 years after that. And that is what you call self-compassion. When we have self-compassion, we see ourselves beyond our present paradigm. And sometimes that can be difficult, but sometimes that can be easy for us. And no matter how anyone else sees us, it's important that we do practice self-compassion when we are suffering. The company Google, they practice self-compassion, and they actually train their employees to have self-compassion. They recognize that there is a difference between low self-esteem, high self-esteem, and self-compassion. And what the difference is that when you have low self-esteem, you feel like you are separate from other people because you're experiencing I'm not enough and self-judgment. So that keeps you separate. And this can make you feel hopeless sometimes when you are suffering. And when you have high self-esteem, this can be a little bit of a problem too, because we become a little narcissistic. And our society teaches us that it's you against me. So if you lose, then I win, right? The red against the blue. And this is how we are trained. So when you have high self-esteem, that is a sense of separation also. But when you have that sense of self-compassion, what it is that you are connected with all beings around you. And because I'm human and you're human, I deserve love. And because you're human, you deserve love too. So it is a high form of high self-esteem. It's a spiritual form, I believe, of it. But I think it has to be cultivated. You see, there are suicides every 13 minutes in the United States. And I think it's because people get into that realm where they where they feel hopeless, where they feel there is no way out, and they are disconnected from their fellow human beings. And especially teenagers between the age of 14 to 24. And they have something for teenagers called the divided line, where they put teenagers in a gym. And then they have all the teenagers on one side. And they ask these questions of suffering. They would say, like, if you're a teen, okay, so anyone who has ever experienced bullying, please cross the line. And they would cross the line slowly, and all their other friends would watch them cross the line. Okay, has anyone here ever experienced discrimination against color or your gender? And then some of the children would cross the line. Has anyone ever been humiliated in front of their peers? And then people would cross the line. So they would continue to ask these common denominator questions of suffering for teenagers until all the children had crossed the line. So it made the children look at themselves and understand that we are all connected through human emotions. And there is no separation, because for teenagers, the second cause of death is suicide. And so for our friends around us, they can suffer and they can feel hopelessness. It's important that we keep them where they want to be seen, beyond their present paradigm. And I have a very close friend of mine that I basically grew up with. We met when we were in our young 20s dancing together. And she was kind of a jack of all trades. Not only was she a dancer, but she was also a musician, and she was a graphic artist. And she became a book designer, or she became a publisher, and she worked out of her house. And she worked for Hal Leonard. Matter of fact, she published over 600 books in her name, and they were in print. However, matter of fact, they were guitar books, Myron. However, in 2009, the print business totally went down and everything went digital. And she totally lost, all of her income. And she started to spiral down because she was hitting ground zero. So she moved from Marin County to LA, hoping that life would get better. This was the first time that she actually wrote the first New Thought songbook there. But during this time, she had very low self-esteem, and she acquired colon cancer. And thank God that she had survived this cancer, and she had a hard time finding a job, and she started to become extremely hopeless in her life, and she went on antidepressants. And she had to move out of LA, and she went to Modesto, where it was cheaper to live, and she had a neighbor there who was a beautiful Christian woman. And this neighbor was always keeping her in the light. She was always saying, "Charlou, I'm always praying for you no matter what." At this time, Charlou couldn't get a job at Kmart's. She couldn't get a job at Walmart. She couldn't get a job at Starbucks. There was no job in sight, and she felt hopeless. And the only hope that she had was the death experience. And so she did choose a cliff that she was going to drive off of, and her car would just tumble down. It would be easy for her. But she thought she would go to the doctors first because she was on antidepressants, but these antidepressants were depressing her even more. And so when she went to the doctors, they gave her a new pill, and it brought her spirits up and alive. And she went home and she told her neighbor, but she said, "The only problem is I don't have any money. I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent. I don't know how I'm going to live. I can't even get a job." And her neighbor said, "Well, I continue to pray for you, and my prayers always work." So she went to her mailbox and she opened up her mailbox and there was a huge manila envelope in there. And she opened up the manila envelope and there were tons of cards from all her friends. They were greeting cards with big fat checks in them. And they all knew that she was suicidal. They all knew that she was less than 100 pounds. They all knew that she needed to be seen in the light. And so this gave her that light where she took that money and she was able to move to Marin County, and one door opened up after another, and now she is happy and healthy, and she's back to where she was because she had compassion. Compassion from her Christian friend who lived next door to her, who continued to see her past her present paradigm. Compassion for all her beautiful friends that love her so much. And she was able to pass the story on to one of her friends, Kia, who danced with her for many years. And her husband was dying of Lou Gehrig's disease. And she was losing her house and all her finances because of the hospital bills. And Charlie's, her suggestion to her was, do not keep it a secret. Do not become disconnected from your humankind. So Kia put this on Facebook, and when she put it on Facebook, she started to get manila envelopes in the mail. All her friends gathered together, and they had a big charity event for her. And she never lost her house. And yes, her husband did pass on, but she moved on to the paradigm that she wanted to see herself in, because she was able to connect with all people around her. You see, Google, they know what they're doing. They're teaching religious science in the corporate world. They're teaching people about prayer and meditation. They're teaching people about self-awareness. And they found the happiest person in the world. And they connected him to machinery. And they checked out his brain waves and said, oh yeah, this is the happiest person in the world. So they asked him, so why or how are you the happiest person in the world? He said, well, I practice compassion. And he said, well, how do you do that? And he said, every time I meet somebody, I say, I want you to be happy. 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 Do you see what it's doing? I want you to be happy. As you give, you do receive. I want you to be happy. I am connected to all humankind. I want you to be happy. I am love and you are love. And so look what this does to you, your mind, your heart, your soul. Instead of feeling that feeling of separation to all people that you meet, you say, I want to be happy. So just think of that person that you lit your candle for today. That person that you dedicated this service to, who is suffering. And just say to yourself, I want you to be happy. You see, the path of compassion is a flowering of love. The path of compassion is when you have a strong back, a soft heart, and a single eye. And so you're not going to get into the ditch. You're going to feel for them, but you're going to singly eye see them beyond their present paradigm. Because I want you to be happy. So let's pray. So as we come together as one in the presence of the divine spirit, I know right here and right now there is one life, and that life is God, and that life is good. And I know that life is my life now, for I am the essence of spirits. I am the loving, compassionate soul of the divine. For I know that I'm connected to all human life. I'm connected to each person here in this sanctuary. And I am so grateful for this. For I want each person here to be happy. I want each person to be free from suffering, to be free from bondage, to be free from misery. And that is the essence of who they are, for they are that light of God. For I know each person here is that divine light that shines so brightly out into the world. And what I know for you right here and right now, that you see people through the eyes of compassion. I know that you see life through the eyes of compassion. I know that you are connected to all humanity, and that you are connected to God, and you are connected to Spirit. And I know that if there's anyone in your life that is in pain, that is suffering, that is misery, that you see them beyond their present paradigm. You see them as God sees them, and that is light, and that is love, and that is wholeness. And I am grateful for this day. And I release my word into the law of mind, knowing that it is done, and so it is.
When I was a child each week, Sunday we would go to church, listen to my daddy preach. He would speak the holy word, consecrate the holy bread. Every differences. Everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two. Jesus made the water wine. I remember feeling sad, as miracles don't happen still. But now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything, everything, everything's a miracle. 'Cause everything is holy now. 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 And wine from water is not so small. An even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, I could barely wet my fingertips. Now I have to hold my breath, like I'm drowning in a sea of it. There used to be a world half there, wearing second grade hand-me-downs. Now I'm walking with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. 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 Everything's holy now. Everything is holy now. And wine from water is not so small. Even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. This morning outside I stood, I saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush, singing like a scripture verse. Made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out. Today the only difference is everything's holy now. Sing that with me. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything's holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything's holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything's holy. Everything is holy now. Everything's holy now. Everything's holy now. Everything's holy now. Everything's holy now. Holy now.
was great. Thank you so much. It was beautiful. It was just perfect. So I invite our ushers to come forward, for this is our time of giving. So what I know, as we give, we do receive, right? As I want you to be happy, I am happy. As I give love, I am love. As I am abundant, I am abundant. So we want to give to each other. The universe is always reciprocal. And your tithe here allows this Wednesday service to continue on and allows the consciousness of Seaside to expand and grow and love and filter out into the world. So I have a tithing. Matt, can we have the tithing affirmation? Here we go. So together, let's say this tithing. Take your tithe and please put it over your heart. And together, let's say, freely I give, freely I receive. I'm immersed in the universal flow, knowing my gifts do good work in the world and returns to me multiply abundantly. And so it is. Hi, Melissa. Thank you.
Love is calling me home. Love has opened the door. Come inside and feel the light. Love asks nothing more. Love is calling me home. Love has opened the door. Open the door. Come inside and feel the light. Love asks nothing more. Peace is calling me. Peace is calling me home. Peace has opened the door. Come inside and feel the light. Peace asks nothing more. Sing that with me, joy. Joy is calling me home. Joy has opened the door. Open the door. Come
So this is our time where we can be compassionate to our loved ones around us. And we want to keep them in spirit and see them beyond their present paradigm where they want to be seen. For this is called the Circle of Love prayer. I'm going to invite you to bring someone in your mind's eye that may need a healing right now. And as you raise your hand, I will just touch the Tibetan bell and we will bring this into the circle of love here in this room. So does anyone here have someone that needs a healing? That's beautiful, Nicolette. Jessica. Judy. Anyone else? Yes. Yes. Ari and Kevin. Yes. 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 Let's keep our loved ones in the circle. Yes. The circle of love is complete. Let's see them how they want to be seen. So I invite you to close your eyes. And we come together as one, recognizing the presence of God right here in this room. Recognizing that the circle of love is complete. As Ernest Holmes quotes, it comprehends all. It knows all. It binds all together with cords of everlasting unity. I cannot depart from His presence nor wander from His care. The circle of love is complete within me. The circle of love is complete within each and every person in this room. As we lift our loved ones high into the essence of the divine spirit, we allow that light to heal each and every person, knowing that the presence of God is the healing quality of the divine spirit. Right where God is, they are. For I know the love of God surrounds them, and the arms of God is around them. I am grateful for this healing as I speak my word into the law, knowing that it is done, and so it is. So it is. I just want to say I'm so grateful to be here with you on Wednesday nights. I just love you. I just love this. And I have so much gratitude for everyone here who help out. Matthew Berger, first time on sound for me, and Greg Neville and Tim Griffith. We have Ginny Mills, who is our Wednesday night coordinator, and Dennis Mills, who's with us, and Melissa. And we have our practitioner holding us in light, Nancy Devinier. And we have Kay Samuelson, I love you. Mwah. And she did our gong meditation. She did a beautiful reading and a prayer. Thank you so much for giving your time to this Wednesday night service. And Dave Avani, you are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And Myron Sam, thank you so much. Everyone loves you when you're here. And just remember, if you want to share your story with Reverend Lori, you can be anonymous. I would love to share your story up here. And if it fits with one of my talk titles, please email it to me or talk to me personally. Also, this Friday is the Dances of Universal Peace. And it's really a beautiful practice, just simple songs and dances and honoring all past to God. So, please stand, and Matt, would you please put up our universal blessing? This is the path of compassion. This is one of the dances from the universal peace. And we'll just say it together. If you want to do the arm movements with me, you can. If not, just give compassion and love to the world. May all beings be well and happy. May all beings be free from strife. May all beings return to love. Peace be with you forevermore. I love you. All right.
This is a chant called The Longtime Sun. Some of you probably know this one. May the longtime sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way home, guide your way sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way home. Guide your way home. And then we'll sing Sat Nam 3 times. Sat Nam. Sat Nam.
I love you. Thank you. Did I get a hug? Oh, thanks for coming up. You look beautiful.